इधर उधर छूटना ही है तो that's I think that's all understandable. But again the content and everything else was काफी अच्छा, मेरे को तो काफी अच्छा लगा ओवरऑल पूरा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, और उसमें इंदौर में जो पूरा इंदौर को जो नाम मिला और इंदौर को जो रिकग्निशन मिला, इट वाज वेरी गुड टू हियर दैट. तुम्हारा कुछ?
धीरज जी?
मुझे ओवरऑल मुझे भी बहुत आई एंजॉयड अ लॉट. जो भी हमने 2 प्रोग्राम अटेंड किए, एक दिन सीएम के साथ और मोदी जी वाला प्रोग्राम, और मतलब बहुत इस बार प्राउड फील हुआ क्योंकि जिस तरह से एनआरआईज का वेलकम हो रहा था इंदौर में, तो बहुत अच्छा लगा कि एक लोग जो वहाँ के लोग हैं, कॉमन पब्लिक, वो एक अलग ही दृष्टिकोण से देख रहे थे एनआरआईज को, जो पहले कभी ऐसा हुआ नहीं कि इतने सालों में इंडिया गए तो वैसा वाला दृष्टिकोण दिखा नहीं जो इस बार दिखा. तो इट फेल्ट रियली प्राउड.
Right. Akhilesh, is he there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
So most of things covered by Sushma ji and Raj Bansal. Only one thing, delicious food. I could able to taste all kind of Malwa food in this all 3 days. After that, I could not eat much at home. So that's the one unfortunate situation. But overall,
क्योंकि आप 2 बार खा रहे थे क्या वहाँ पे?
3 times. आपके वेट कर रहे थे.
हरीश ठक्कर 2 बार खा रहा था इसलिए.
So overall it was good. Only one more good part, like I could get to meet many new people outside of our US. So I made good friend. So that's another part, apart from what you guys have covered.
अखिलेश जी अपना फेस तो दिखाओ.
फेस दिखा देता हूँ आपको. आने के बाद चेंज हो गया.
कोई बात नहीं, इसमें क्या है, इवनिंग है, कोई भी रेस्ट कर सकता है.
No, I have actually continued my few office calls. Still, I think it's go up to midnight, but I am taking break in between.
Great.
Yeah. So,
thank you.
Sushma ji, I think you can walk through that incident evening we had. We could not get table. What you did it. At least share your thoughts. How you played around. And second, we took photo with
Jai Shankar ji.
Jai Shankar Pradhan. There's another, like, there are good moments you should share.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
So let me address the topic which I think everybody has on the mind about the 9th morning. So, let me share this. That
can I tell one thing I
ahead,
remembered? Somebody called me in the morning today around 7:30, one of my good friend, and he asked me when I told him I was there. So he asked me कि ये सच है क्या कि काफी chaos हुआ और सब हुआ, मतलब लोगों ने ओवरसीज सुना कि it was a chaos, जैसे आपने भी मेंशन किया था कि ऑलरेडी खबर पहुंच गई वहां पे. So then I explained him कि no, there was nothing chaos, only the one morning when the PM was there, but that is obvious कि हो सकता था because he was there. So people had impression कि शायद chaos हुआ हो. But I explained him everything about decorative, about food, कि एक आदमी 2-2 घंटा बैठ के 2-2 बार खाना खा रहा था. Everything was, I explained him that. So I wanted to mention that.
So, this is an example of, how bad, not so positive news versus positive news. So I was there for almost 10-15 days. People were sharing information about photograph, about lighting and food and decoration and NRI welcome and all that. And within probably 3 hours of so it was like when the program of the PM program closed by 1 o'clock India time. So that must have been like late night in America. By probably within 3 hours of that program, I at least got 7 WhatsApp messages from different people in America that, oh, there is big chaos that's happening and what is happening and all that. So, this is an example that there were no WhatsApp messages in the previous days about all the good things that were happening. but immediately, those videos were floating around. So this is the real situation. What happened? Their hall capacity was around 2,200 only. In the past PBDs, the ratio of actual registration to actual turnout used to be only 50%. So if 1,000 people would register, only 500 people would actually show up. This time, the turnout ratio to registration ratio was almost 85%. So of the people that they registered, and what had happened is because the registration ratios were low, they had allowed people from India to register in the last 1 month. So a good number of people from India also registered along with the NRIs. Where the city and administration definitely missed out was they did not have any separate NRI entrance or NRI enclosure on the 9th morning. So everybody was together. So, the NRIs were also in the same hall. The local people were also in the same hall. I or Raj or Akhilesh or Sushma ji must have met at least 200, 300 people while we were there. I do not know of a single person who was left out. So there were people who were left out, but nobody that I knew. So most of the people we knew were already in the hall by 9:30. But then, yes, they had to close the hall. And there were NRIs who were left out positively. They had arrangements in other halls and all. But yes, there was confusion because of that. Then there were some videos that were made. And, those are not wrong. There were some false rumors that the London deputy mayor was outside. He was outside for only 2 minutes and he got out.
Media was outside.
But by that time, the negative news had already spelled, and so the CM also apologized of that from the stage and all those things. So yes, there was definitely some NRIs who were left out on 9th morning. Other than that, if I look at the entire last 10 days जो इंदौर में बीते, मैं तो पहले PBD भी अटेंड किया. 7 तारीख को हम लोगों ने वहां पे स्टार्टअप्स का भी प्रोग्राम ऑर्गेनाइज किया था, जिसमें करीब 30 स्टार्टअप ने 60 NRIs को प्रेजेंट किया फ्रॉम 20 कंट्रीज. 7 तारीख को रात को फ्रेंड्स ऑफ एमपी का डिनर था सारे ग्लोबल चैप्टर्स का पीएम के सीएम के साथ में, जिसमें करीब 200-250 फ्रेंड्स ऑफ एमपी थे. 8, 9, 10 को पीबीडी था और 11, 12 को GIS भी अटेंड किया मैंने पूरा का पूरा. एंड some of the things were so remarkable कि उसी हॉल में most of the people were not there on the 11th. तो 10 तारीख को रात को 8 बजे तक जिस पूरे स्टेडियम के अंदर पीबीडी चल रहा था, पूरे बैनर लगे थे, सब कुछ पूरा ऊपर से लेके नीचे तक बाहर पीबीडी था. 11 तारीख को सुबह 8 बजे वहां पीबीडी का नामो निशान भी नहीं था और पूरा का पूरा हॉल, पूरा स्टेडियम GIS में कन्वर्ट हो गया. So in one night they removed everything and changed and put up the new thing. तो जो 11 तारीख को आए उनको कोई मालूम भी नहीं पड़ा कि उसी हॉल में कल पीबीडी हो रहा था. The travel arrangements, I did not come to know anybody जिसने ये बोला हो कि मेरी फ्लाइट मिस हो गई या मैं फ्लाइट से ठीक से नहीं आ पाया. Food arrangements, they had I think a buffet for almost 1,500, 2,000 people. And this was on 8th morning, night, 9th morning, night, 10th morning and evening, and people were having their meals. कोई उसमें line नहीं. Good variety of Indori food and other options also. Lot of program content, as Raj said. और जिस तरह से पूरा इंदौर सजा हुआ था, मतलब right from the airport to the shops to किशनपुरा to anything that you name it. और उसमें से आधा decoration तो लोगों ने खुद किया था. That was really amazing, that the amount of effort that people took. One thing that really was amazing about Indore कि उन्होंने they did a program called पधारो मारे घर. So they had tried this in Varanasi where they had done a homestay, but that was like on an Airbnb model that you had to pay for it. In Indore, there were 150 families who offered their homes for people to stay and totally as guests. And they even went to pick up to the airport and drop to the airport, and the entire 3 days of stay, khana pina, ghumana, just as mehman, just through a portal. And there were around 92 families who used that, who availed of that, and they left so happy. और उसके बाद भी करीब 50 और families थी जो host बनने को तैयार थी. And everybody said that this is something that only a city like Indore can do, where you can host somebody that you don't know even. ऐसा कुछ नहीं था कि उसमें कोई restriction except for let's say food restriction कि भी veg, non-veg, और उसके अलावा कोई भी लोग कहीं के, कोई UAE वाला किसी शर्मा जी के यहाँ रुका था, कोई कैलिफोर्निया वाला, कोई वॉशिंगटन DC वाला किसी उपाध्याय के यहाँ रुका था, and people were just staying. And they had so much of fun with each other. They became friends. They started connecting. The CM also went to their home. और पूरा का पूरा so this was one notable. They had probably thousands of policemen that were working for all 5-6 days. I did not find a single instance कि किसी भी पुलिस वाले ने किसी के साथ भी बदतमीजी से बात की हो, which is something that you would imagine कि इतने thousands of लोग हैं तो police would use some foul language and all. And I actually went and complimented the police commissioner on the last day that you had tough occasions, आपको सबकी checking करनी थी, but पूरे पुलिस को ट्रेनिंग थी कि वो सबके साथ में एकदम पोलाइटली बात करेंगे, एकदम कंफर्टेबली बात करेंगे, किसी को भी कोई परेशानी नहीं होनी चाहिए. So overall, the impact that Indore created, Indore and MP, we should both say both things together, the entire administration, the entire city, और अमेरिका से भी कई लोग, न्यू जर्सी से बहुत सारे लोग जो यहाँ के कम्युनिटी लीडर्स हैं, FIA के, बाकी दूसरे एसोसिएशन के, they were also there. We had people from Maheshwari Samaj like Jugalji Malani and other people from Houston and other who attended. And all of them said that we never imagined that इतना इंदौर में इतनी अच्छी व्यवस्था हो सकती है, and Indore can be a city like this. And all of them, many people gave their comments in different platforms, and the newspapers were writing articles for almost last 10-15 days on PBD. जो लोग आ रहे थे उनके बारे में, all of us had their shares of either giving our interviews or connecting them to the others. As far as the Global Investor Summit was concerned, we had almost India's who's who that was there on the stage. The Tata Sons chairman was there, Kumar Mangalam Birla was there, Reliance director was there, Adani director was there, Sanjeev Bajaj was there. So there were around 70 people on stage. So मैंने उस दिन पूछा था उनके MPIDC के, so they said 22 private planes landed that morning in Indore. So only 10 or 12 people spoke. तो उन्होंने बोला कि कई 10 तो private plane वाले थे जिनको बोलने का भी मौका नहीं मिला, because there was so much of paucity of time to have the people speak. We also got chance, of course, to meet Shivraj ji many times. We got to meet Jai Shankar ji. We got to meet Nirmala Sitharaman. We could share our have thoughts with them and other local dignitaries, and everybody was very receptive. और इस पूरे के दौरान जो Friends of MP का global अब जो footprint बन गया है, so there is now Friends of MP in probably 15 or 17 countries. और जो total अगर 3,000 NRI या 3,500 NRI आए थे, so at least 30% of them came because of motivation or participation of Friends of MP. मतलब किसी ना किसी तरह से या तो वो Friends of MP के member थे या Friends of MP वालों ने उनको motivate किया था. So right up to the central government, state government, everybody now recognizes that Friends of MP globally is a very powerful group or phenomena that is there. We got to meet, everybody here also got to meet Friends of MP from Dubai, from South Africa, from England, from Singapore, from Japan, and Friends of MP from other parts of America also, Boston, Chicago, and people here also want to open more Friends of MP. दुनिया के दूसरे देशों में भी लोग खोलना चाहते हैं. So because of that, the entire networking that could happen with the people that we could meet was also very amazing. तो जो भी हम mental शायद सोच के गए थे कि पता नहीं कैसा होगा क्या होगा, yeah, 9th morning of course, there are some things that can be planned better, but इतने flow के अंदर शायद वो चीज they missed out. But other than that, as Sushma ji said, मेरे को भी 6 दिन था, कोई की तबीयत खराब होना या किसी को कोई परेशानी होना या कोई ये प्रॉब्लम हो गई, people were ready to help in any which way, whether it was whether you wanted direction. दुकान वाले फ्री में खाना खिला रहे थे, रिक्शे वाला पैसा नहीं ले रहा था लोगों से उसको जाने के लिए. So almost like a feeling कि हर आदमी पूरे शहर के लिए जो एक मेहमान था, बाराती था.
We had the red carpet. All of us.
The entire NRIs had a red carpet from everybody that was attending. So,
Thank you, Muchaldi. I think this is such a great to hear about one's own city. I heard from one of my mama who is a government officer who actually visited the same event. So I heard that this has been at a very high level where everybody is participating, all at least good dignitaries. So such a great experience to hear that Indore did such a warm welcome. We always believe that one day Indore will become an IT hub and will not be in a place to leave our homes and stay right in Indore and near Bhopal. But with all these changes coming, it feels so proud that now it's going to happen. At least if not us, our cousins, our brothers, sisters will get this advantage. So thank you for sharing this. This is just amazing. I hope there are more good, bright things keeps happening. but really appreciate all this encouragement and participation and, sharing your experiences. Thank you so much.
Yeah, even from the IT angle, there are a lot of companies that are nationally there, and even the startup ecosystem, what we observed 1.5 years ago. So there are companies which have now raised 3 rounds. They have a lot of enthusiasm, they have a lot of confidence, and they are doing great work. There are companies which are opening data centers in Indore and MP because, data privacy laws are going to be that you'll have to have data in India. There are companies that are working in commodities trading. There are companies that are working in e-commerce, and all of them doing good work. So, you could see their enthusiasm and confidence that was there. All of them also, many of them that participated on 7th morning, they appreciated the fact that we tried that effort. And, Raj was there, Akhilesh was also there. Sushma ji was also there, Bhargav ji was there. And many of them were the companies that were part of our innovation forum also. And they've also all made good steps and, continuing to do the progress in the efforts that have been going on. As far as the efforts are concerned, I know for a fact because, connecting to the different government, for the last 3 months, the entire MP, IDC, NRI department was all the people, right from the secretary level to the lowest people, they were actually working 18 hours a day with no holidays, no Sundays, for everything. And the last day when I met Shivraj to thank on behalf of all of us, he said that for the last 7 days, Muchalji, I've only slept 3 hours every day because there are so many meetings that are happening and so much activities that's happening. And everybody appreciated the fact that he was so energetic, meeting everybody. And, wherever he could meet, he was talking to people, he was trying to interact, and even the staff or all the senior officers, senior people, so they tried and they left as positive an impression on the minds of people. And, I have not attended previous PBDs, but this one, actually, now people know what PBD is. Prior to this, I think it must have been only that, okay, one of my cousins had attended the PBD in Bangalore. So he said when it happened in Bangalore, they didn't even know in other parts of the city. But here the entire city and state was knowing that, okay, PBD is happening. तो सारे अखबार में 15 दिन से सिर्फ पीबीडी मतलब एनआरआई आ रहे हैं, एनआरआई के लिए ये व्यवस्था होगी, ऐसा होगा, वो यहाँ रुकेंगे. और they gave bags to everybody. I probably got missed out because I didn't take it, but I saw people carrying the bags and very good gifts that they gave to everybody, and they made sure that everybody had a very quality experience. Nothing was like low quality. मतलब सभी को एकदम proper अच्छा experience कैसे मिले खाने के अंदर. The food also that was served at all the meals, very good quality.
And too many varieties. Too many varieties.
Yeah, please go ahead. Happy to answer questions.
I think the thing which I really need to understand is what is the GDP of MP compared to the population. And if you take the GDP away from Indore and Bhopal or big cities, what is the real GDP of villages? And what was committed to see that the village life, that their total income doubles up? So are there anything going on in that respect from the investment point of view?
Yes,
so it is good to know that.
Yeah, I'll answer your question. So as far as the current GDP is concerned, I don't know the number, but I do know because Shivraji said this in public platforms that when India wants to have their GDP up to 5 trillion, MP wants to have their GDP at 550 billion. So 10% of India's GDP when it reaches 5 trillion in 3 or 4 years time will be contributing from MP. As far as villages are concerned, MP has a lot of agricultural economy. So that definitely comes from villages. Now, as far as development efforts are concerned, things are going on, but obviously, like any other state, most of the development does happen in the cities. So, Indore, Bhopal, Gwalior, Jabalpur will be the main hubs where activity is going on. But they are definitely making efforts and all that. You and I can also talk offline on this if you need more information.
I'll tell you, this is very interesting to me because if you look at the total population of MP is around 70 or 80 million people.
Right.
If you look at the total area of MP, is much bigger than Japan or Singapore or UAE and other things. So to keep our goals, at $550 billion, I think you got to think very high, that how come smaller countries in the world, I mean, you have to look at MP as supposing MP was a country. Okay. What would be the GDP? So compare it to other countries of the world.
I think it is kind of, it's a good discussion to have, but it is kind of difficult because that's not a reality. You are operating in India where all the pluses and minuses of India are not going away. So to just theoretically say that we are Denmark or we are Norway or we are Japan is not going to cut it.
I'm not comparing it to the Western countries.
No, any country, because ultimately it is part of India, right? So it can only operate within the norms of India.
Okay, all right. I mean,
but
what I wanted to really understand.
I'll three data points which are real. So let's say all of us were in India, probably somebody 15 years ago, 20 years ago and all that. Now, I remember very clearly 15, 20 years ago, there used to be power cuts in Indore of almost 4 hours every day or 6 hours also and all that. As of today, Madhya Pradesh is supplying electricity to Delhi Metro. And as of today, Madhya Pradesh has extra electricity that they are ready to offer to any state which is ready to buy. So this is public data that is available and CM also spoke about it. Same is the situation as far as water is concerned in most of the metropolitan areas, that they do not have paucity as far as the water is concerned. As far as roads is concerned, earlier clear data point, earlier it used to take 10 to 12 hours to go from, let's say, Indore to Gwalior and 4.5 hours to go from Indore to Bhopal. In this trip, I traveled 2.5 hours I took to go to Bhopal. And my relative came from Gwalior. In 5.5 hours, they drove from Gwalior to Indore. All this has happened in the last 10 years in Madhya Pradesh, which is all real time. As of now, and people must have taken, I think from Indore, there are flights to 23 cities of India. Maybe 22 or 23, I don't know the number. These are direct flights. So I didn't even know that you could go to Jodhpur from Indore. I think Raj probably took that flight. So you can go to Jodhpur, you can go to Bangalore, you can go to Surat, you can go to Calcutta, you can go to, of course, all the metros, Delhi, Hyderabad and all that. 10 years ago, I think you could only go to Bombay, Delhi, and maybe a couple of other cities, and that also was not unsure. So we had all these 3,500 NRIs coming to Indore from all parts of the world, and nobody said that, I had any connectivity problem. Of course, they landed in either Bombay or Delhi and all that. This is all real development that has happened in the last 10 years. That was not there. So, we can look at the glass half full and half empty.
No. I'm not. Honest to God, I'm not. All I was trying to suggest that we have so many brilliant people from Indore on this. Is there any way we can adopt a village and show that whatever we have learned in different countries, and we will put money. I'll put my own money into it,
No, I'll take you up on that offline.
And then show it to the world that if every village just adopted all those things, what will be the GDP of? And I don't mind going there at my own expenses, I mean, here we have so many brilliant people. Take a small village. Doesn't matter what village it is. Say 1,000 people or 2,000 people, and see how we can make a difference in their life by contributing whatever we have learned, the village life here. I mean, look at it. I live in a small village. I mean, all alone, look at the quality of life. Go back here in a small village. That's why if you look at it, in India, everything is growing in big cities. I said the same thing to the Maharashtra Chief Minister. I said, take the GDP of Mumbai, Pune, and 1 or 2 other cities. You know what will be the GDP of whole Maharashtra? Nothing. Nothing. Just do that. It means where the most of the population is, they are not contributing to the GDP. It means their quality of life is not changing. Okay. Here, if you look around or anywhere in the world, it is, if you don't change their life, so, I mean, I think some of us, I would rather have you take a lead, because you're a great leader. Assign somebody and say, you know what, we will adopt this village. Take a village, and say, we are going to make a difference.
Sure. Let me take with you, Govindji, offline. There are
Okay.
others also who would, yeah, I will take it up, and I will also try to connect you to people there.
I mean, does anybody agree or disagree with this concept?
The floor is open.
I want to just share some thoughts here. This is Ajit Jain. So I'm from Sarawat. It's a very small town near Indore. Hardly anybody knows if that town even exists. It's between Indore and Khandwa. I was born there. I spent literally my childhood there. Right now, the population is about 30,000. I think when I left that place 20, 30 years ago, it was about 15,000. So I had to go. Recently I visited about 7 months ago, and prior to that I visited about 2 years ago. Every time I go, that town is growing. So of course everything goes in a ratio. So if we are talking about a smaller town with 15,000, 20,000 population is growing its own speed, and I see there are all kind of facilities there, like the smaller houses, even the housing societies are there with air conditions are there. And this I'm talking about very small town. The main source of the income of that town where I was born was mainly agriculture. So yes, to your point, yes, there should be a little bit more development. But to James' point, I would say, yes, it's growing. And I saw myself. Yes, it doesn't come in the newspaper. You don't get to read whole a lot because not a big industry coming there. But certainly there are, development even in the smaller town. Like I saw firsthand, like when I go, I have air condition, which was not, didn't even exist. It was in like handful of homes had the air conditioner. Now pretty much every house has an air conditioner. I'm using air conditioner as a more like a symbol, but that says a lot. So yes, absolutely very good thought. Like, we should take a town, but yes, they are at the same time, there are progress. Like the town is growing. You could really measure how big the town was. Now you don't even know where one town is ending, another town is starting. It's like connecting. So it's not only happening in Indore or the bigger cities, but also in smaller cities.
Dr. Saab, you want to say something?
Yeah, very quickly. Govindji, I admire you. We had a good conversation at one of the picnics. So I admire what you have done on a macro level. 3 other quick things. One, I think this is a big topic, and maybe JM can arrange a separate Zoom meeting of how we can contribute to the development of MP sitting here. Number 2 point I wanted to make was, this GDP measurement is a Western economic concept. I'm not a student of economics, but most of the economy in smaller places in India is cash based. Okay. I mean, my father has a big business by rupee measure, but it's all cash. I don't know if his contribution to the GDP is counted. So this GDP calculation in India, I won't rely on it 100%. There's so much cash economy. I know they now have GST, so maybe going forward, the calculation may be better. And the last part I wanted to mention, and I know these are all disjointed points, to try to help somebody in a different country, if we impose our ideas, it's not going to work. I think if we want to really help any particular village, one of us needs to go there and live there for 3 months and then ask those people how they think we can help them. Because if we impose our ideas from here, it may not work. There may not be so much reception, participation, and buyout. So those are 4 disjointed points. But again, I admire the thought, and maybe we should discuss all this at a different Zoom meeting. But today, I think we just wanted a recap from the.
I totally agree with you. I mean, New Zealand is a very good example. It's an agriculture island. Yeah. Pure agriculture island. Isolated, no resources. MP is far better than New Zealand in terms of the resources, in terms of the people, you know. So what I can do is, what I try to do is compare to the countries in other part of the world and say, okay, I mean, I'm not saying, you know, all this progress, I mean, that is fantastic, but the potential is much bigger. That is the only point I'm trying to say. And take the best practices, you know, and I think if 5 or 10 people on this group, you know, say that, hey, listen, we want to adopt something or we will talk separately, I'm open to it. Because I want to give my rest of my life on that. Whatever I'm going to earn, I'm going to contribute it back to that.
Happy to get you connected to the right people, sir. I will do my best. Any other people, you know, a lot of people have joined. Happy to answer, you know, and not just me, Raj or Sushma ji, Akhilesh, happy to answer any questions. Anand, go ahead.
Just a small question. So that Padharo thing you mentioned, how people got connected to that?
Yeah, so actually the Indore Development Authority, IDA, created an app which was called Padharo Mare Ghar, and they floated it to all NRIs. And on one side, all the home hosts, which can be called as Mejban, put their information that what kind of home they have, how many people they can accommodate and all. Sorry. And on the other side, then the NRIs, they reached out through the different NRIs group, Friends of MP groups, and then the NRIs filled it up. That's how they got connected. So they actually created an app for it to make the connections happen. When the app was released, somehow they invited me and Mrs. Muchal and Rajiv Nima, and that was done just like 5-7 days in advance of the PBD, and then they floated it. And by the end, they had 92 people or 92 families who stayed as guests. Pragati Mehta ji wanted to say something.
Hanji, namaste everyone. I have a very, very basic question that I'm having since past many months now. How are we actually contributing? PBD happened and all. Are we doing the real investments in different companies or the startups? I mean, are we doing something in the education or, you know, some infrastructure front? How we are contributing over there, like in Indore, in MP, through the PBD?
So, good question, couple of answers. So some chapters of Friends of MP, especially from Boston, they took up this cause and they actually adopted 4 schools, the government schools. And they have supported them in terms of computers and also in terms of some infrastructure. And, you know, they are open that if other people want to take up that project. As far as investing in companies is concerned, we did not put in monies directly as Friends of MP, but as far as supporting those companies with mentorship is concerned, connecting them to different organizations is concerned, that was already done in the past also, and we continue to do. And I think this year we'll probably take it to the next level also about investing in those companies. So those are 2 definitive areas where action is happening. Then there are doctors that I know, and Dr. Kakani can probably tell more, where doctors have been contributing to Madhya Pradesh in variety of ways. There were this time also, I think 15 doctors from America were there. There was one Dr. Manoj Jain from Dallas who was leading and then this Dr. Satwani from Edison was there. And they talked to the CM and tried to see that how they can help in. So in different forums, in different areas where people can help or support, they are definitely trying to do.
Is there any forum for, I mean, is there any like website for that if we want to do it, or do we need to contact any authority for it?
I can get you connected to somebody. Drop me a message offline and I will try to get you connected to somebody where you can be in touch.
Oh, truly appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Sure, please.
Since you brought up the medical issue, just to update everybody, Dr. Satwani helped start a bone marrow transplant unit in Maharaja Yashwantrao Hospital in Indore, which is flourishing. And now they are going to copy that model in Hamidia Hospital in Bhopal. Manoj Jain was born in Mahu, migrated to US at the age of 10. He is based in Nashville. He had contributed to TB eradication program, and now they are trying to work out a system of some other collaboration as well. So there is effort. We, MANA had also previously signed a memorandum of understanding. But again, there are a lot of bureaucratic hassles and understanding, and we are able to do only so much. We also contributed to this CPR thing, which is, saves lives, like we saw with this football player. And we have tried to support the Indian Society of Anesthesiologists all over, including in Indore, to help spread the message. Thank you.
So yeah, also we have people from, some people from Maheshwari Samaj, because, me and Akhilesh. So we have Ashish Mandovra, we had Tarun Mandana. Thanks for joining. If you have any questions, we have Aarti Jaju also. So yeah, feel free if anybody has any questions.
Yeah, no, Jitenji, this is Ashish here. Absolutely amazing to just hear the enthusiasm that you have brought back from Indore, right? My heart is filled with proudness, that we at Indorians has done so much and we should do more, to make and flourish as an MP, from a technology perspective. So definitely anything that we can do, we can collaborate, we can connect over there. We'll be happy to support and do more, in MP.
Great, thank you. So Umeshji, we also got a chance to meet your brother. I think he's in UAE. So he reached out and I met him there. He must have met others also, but I did meet him. So, we got a chance to say hello to him and have coffee with him. I think it's Lokesh.
That's
right?
very nice. Lokesh, Dr. Lokesh Bhatia.
Yeah, Dr. Lokesh.
Yeah, they had from Doha. He's from Doha. And they had a very big team of like 250 people or something from Doha.
Correct.
Pretty big, yeah. मेरे को आपसे खाली एक सवाल था, मतलब मैं थोड़ा लेट हो गया ज्वाइन करने में, शायद आपने कवर किया तो माफ करना. इसका जो PBD हुआ, तो इसका how are we tracking this success of this in terms of investments particularly? I mean, at the end of the day, there has to be tangible measures. There are obviously intangible measures, but tangibly, how is this going to be tracked? I mean, is there like a portal where they're going to publish something to say, okay, because this happened, quarter on quarter progress or something? ऐसा कुछ बनाया है क्या? या कुछ ऐसा कुछ बनाने का विचार है?
We have to distinguish two programs. As far as the PBD is concerned, it was not towards investment promotion.
Correct.
I'm just talking, so the second program, which is the GIS, which is the Global Investor Summit, that was towards investment promotion. So on the last day of GIS, the government did announce that, okay, so many number of MOUs or so much has been signed. And they have announced that every quarter they will be publishing on the government website as to what is the progress.
Beautiful.
So it will be available on the government portal.
Thank you for that. And I just want to mention one thing, JM, we always look forward to your wonderful voice, the 30-second, 2-minute clips or whatever. It is incredible, what you do. It's just incredible. I mean, kudos to you. आपको सलाम करते हैं सब. आपका डेडिकेशन और पैशन जो है,
हम लोग सभी लोग साथ में थे, राज भी थे, धीरज जी भी थी, तो हमने हर किसी ने कोशिश की कि पूरा न्यूयॉर्क, न्यू जर्सी को वहां पे छा जाए. तो बिटवीन
बिल्कुल छाए हुए थे.
We really wanted that as far as the newspapers are concerned, media was concerned. So somebody, Akhilesh was speaking, somebody I was speaking, Dheeraj ji was speaking, Sushma ji was speaking. So we were trying to meet as many, and also not just speaking to media, but even meeting people. तो जितने ज्यादा लोगों से मिलने की कोशिश,
थोड़ा सा एक डिस्टिंक्शन मैं इसलिए ड्रॉ करना चाहता हूँ और दूसरों का ध्यान इस तरफ थोड़ा आकर्षित इसलिए भी करना चाहता हूँ कि FMP में आप और जैसे काकानी साहब हैं और भी लोग हैं, इन्होंने जो एक प्रयास होते हैं और एक विजिबिलिटी होती है उस प्रयास के ऊपर, राइट? आपने उस जो विजिबिलिटी को आप लाए हैं इन अ कोऑर्डिनेटेड वे, that is very distinguishable from every other chapter, and it stands out head and shoulders above. So I just want to thank you for that, because that's very unique, and please continue to do more of it, and may God bless you and everybody else, who's dedicated to this cause to do more. And by the way, I just want to say, I'm going to Indore next week. So I will take up offline with you, and if there are other things that we need to follow up on, I'll talk to you. So
not in taking to that, not only that, जैसे अमेरिका से करीब मान के चलिए करीब न्यूयॉर्क न्यू जर्सी से और बाकी जगह से जो माहेश्वरी समाज के भी लोग आए थे वहां पे. So, you know, not that we invited them directly, but because we felt that, you know, they are our guests. So we tried to help them in as many ways as possible. तो यहाँ के कुछ 2-3 मीडिया की लेडीज आई थी वहां पे कवर करने के लिए, और माहेश्वरी समाज के लोग थे, FIA के लोग थे. तो we tried to get them connected to the local authorities, meeting people, getting them to, you know, interact. कुछ लोगों को CM के डिनर में इनवाइट कर लिया था, though they were not from Friends of MP. So trying to make everybody feel as happy, because, you know, ultimately we are also Indoris. So, you know, while we were mehman, we were also mejban for those people. तो उनको जितना ज्यादा से ज्यादा, अब अगेन अगले 5-7 दिन में मुलाकात होगी लोगों से, तो मालूम पड़ेगा कि उनका कैसा अनुभव था. But at least first hand reactions seemed positive. That's what I can say.
thank you very much and happy new year to everybody.
Thank you.
जितेंद्र जी, आप लोग को तो पहली बात तो कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट करना चाहिए कि इतना अच्छा आपने इवेंट अटेंड भी किया. एंड आई वाज नॉट वेल, तो मैं आ नहीं पाई. आई एम ट्रूली मिस्ड इट. लेकिन आप बता रहे हैं तो बहुत वाकई बहुत अच्छा ही रहा होगा. जानना चाह रही है कि सैन फ्रांसिस्को में क्या कोई फ्रेंड्स ऑफ मध्य प्रदेश है, MP है यहाँ पे?
अभी उसका
चैप्टर है?
फॉर्मल चैप्टर नहीं है, बट मैं आपको कनेक्ट कर दूंगा कुछ लोगों से. So,
जी
you
जी,
know,
और आप लोग कुछ भी इवेंट अगर करें यहाँ पे तो प्लीज हमें बताइए. वी वुड लव टू टेक पार्ट इन इट.
Definitely, I'll get you connected to some people who are already there.
जी जी भी. एंड आई फील टेरेबल. आप लोग की बातें सुन के और बुरा लग रहा है कि तबीयत ठीक नहीं थी, मैं जरूर जाती.
मित्तल साहब.
You're muted.
नहीं, मतलब जो काफी सुना देखा, और अब सुन के तो और ऐसा लग रहा है कि yes, you know, I really missed it.
Yeah, I definitely felt after being there, जो जिस तरह की तैयारी थी, जिस तरह का enthusiasm था, that if people could have, you know, there are many who could not make it, but those who could have made it, हमें ऐसा लगा कि it was something very proud feeling, and, you know, बहुत ही अलग तरह का अनुभव था. और अगेन जो 9 तारीख वाला एपिसोड, जो उससे मेरे को जो सीखने को मिला, व्हाट ऑफ कोर्स वाज द एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन टू कुड हैव डन. बट व्हेन यू लुक एट द न्यूज मैसेजिंग, जैसे हम लोग 5 दिन थे वहां पे और इतनी सारी अच्छी चीजों की मैंने बात बताई, और वही राज विल ऑल्सो एग्री, अखिलेश विल एग्री, सुषमा जी विल एग्री, वी गॉट द सेम फीलिंग. लेकिन उनमें से किसी की कोई खबर वापस नहीं आई. पधारो हमारे घर की कोई खबर नहीं आई, बहुत अच्छा खाना था उसकी कोई खबर नहीं आई, लाइटिंग की कोई खबर नहीं आई. उस दिन के कंफ्यूजन के कम से कम 12 NRIs ने 8 घंटे में मैसेज भेज दी, अरे क्या हो रहा है इंदौर में, ये तो गड़बड़ हो गई, आई होप दिस इज नॉट, you know, this and that. So that also tells that how social media and, you know, some clips can, you know, go where, and all the other efforts can go where. That was a very clear example.
Jitendra ji, this is only proof that bad news travel, you know, good news travels fast, bad news travels fastest.
Yeah, it was a live example. क्योंकि इतनी सब चीजें अच्छी कि किसी ने कोई वापस खबर नहीं भेजी, लेकिन उसकी आई एम श्योर सबके पास आ गई होगी. राज के पास भी आ गए होंगे, अखिलेश के पास भी आ गए होंगे कि अरे ये क्या हो रहा है, अरे ये क्या हो गया, सब गड़बड़ हो गई. Yeah, we also felt bad. We didn't like it. We were in the hall. We saw the confusion. We saw people shouting. हमें भी अच्छा नहीं लगा. लेकिन you know, there were some physical limitations. और
यार मेरा ये मानना है कि मैंने इतनी सारी प्रोफेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंसेस अटेंड की है, कहीं भी जितने भी लोगों की कैपेसिटी है उतने लोगों की कैपेसिटी का कहीं भी कीनोट का हॉल कहीं भी नहीं होता है, राइट. तो मैं जो लास्ट मेरी कॉन्फ्रेंस में गया था वहां 2.25 लाख लोग आए थे, राइट. वो सैन फ्रांसिस्को में पूरे वर्ल्ड की सबसे बड़ी कॉन्फ्रेंस होती है, और उसमें भी वो कीनोट के लिए जो हॉल होता है हार्डली उसमें 10,000 की कैपेसिटी होती है. तो बाकी के 1,65,000 वो बाहर ही बैठकर कहीं देख रहे हैं, राइट. तो 3,500 लोग आए हैं, 2,200 की कैपेसिटी है, तो 1,300 लोग तो वैसे भी बाहर बैठे ही हैं, NRI, राइट. तो आई थिंक वी नीड टू लुक एट इट इन अ डिफरेंट वे. उसको थोड़ा हाइप ज्यादा किया गया था पूरे इश्यू को. आई डोंट थिंक दैट इट वाज दैट बिग ऑफ एन इश्यू. और दूसरा मेरे को वहां पर ऐसा भी लगा उस इश्यू के लिए कि वो देसी मेंटालिटी भी थी थोड़ी लोगों की ना, कि हम पैसा देकर आए हैं तो वी नीड दैट डिफरेंट ट्रीटमेंट. वो थोड़ा मेंटालिटी भी थी. यहाँ कहीं जाओगे तो वो आपको मेंटालिटी नहीं मिलेगी इन द सेम पीपल. बट मोस्टली जो शोर मचा रहे थे, अगेन आई डोंट, वो मोस्टली टिपिकल जो अपनी इंडियन मेंटालिटी थी कि भाई हम आए हैं बाहर से तो हमको स्पेशल ट्रीटमेंट मिलना चाहिए। तो
But
आई
that
थिंक कि वो थोड़ा इट्स अ मिक्स अप ऑफ एवरीथिंग। तो आई थिंक वो हाइप थोड़ा ज्यादा हुआ था, बट आई डोंट थिंक इट वाज अ बिग इशू एट ऑल मेरे
और
हिसाब से।
जो हम लोग हॉल में थे और जो लोग
हाँ।
बाहर थे, उन्होंने मोदी जी को सेम ही देखा, क्योंकि हम
हाँ।
जो हॉल में थे उन्होंने भी मोदी जी को
Exactly.
हमने उस पे भी नहीं देखा सामने, क्योंकि हमारे सामने कैमरा आ गया था। तो हम लोग जो बार बार आप लोगों को कैमरे में दिख
Yeah.
रहे थे, वो इसलिए दिख रहे थे क्योंकि वो मोदी जी और हमारे बीच में कैमरा था, तो जब वो घूमता था तो हम लोगों को कैप्चर करता था। बट बिकॉज ऑफ दैट वी ऑल्सो सॉ मोदी जी ऑन स्क्रीन ओनली, एंड द
हाँ।
पीपल हु आर आउटसाइड दे मेड एटलीस्ट 10 डिफरेंट हॉल्स जहां उन्होंने वो स्क्रीन लगा रखी थी।
और बाहर वालों के तो मजे हो गए, बाहर वालों को तो मोदी जी तो दिखे, राज भैया भी दिखे टीवी पे। अंदर बैठ रहे तो वो भी नहीं दिखते।
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel that those people, they want their 2 minutes of fame, and I think they got it.
whatever that you can call it. Yeah, obviously मैं अच्छा, हम लोग करीब शायद 8:30 पहुंचे होंगे। 9:30 बजे तक, यानी मोदी जी 10 बजे आने वाले थे, 9:30 बजे तक हॉल में फिर भी स्पेस अवेलेबल थी। This thing happened around 9:45 or 10 o'clock. Now if
Right.
Modi ji is coming, that's a 2-hour program. अच्छा, 8 तारीख को वो लोग सब उस हॉल में जा चुके थे, तो ऐसा भी नहीं कि उनको हॉल का पता नहीं है कि कोई स्टेडियम में प्रोग्राम हो रहा है एंड ऑल दैट। सो पीपल हु वांटेड टू कम, दे वर ऑलरेडी देयर। हम सब लोगों को अपनी जगह मिली, आराम से बैठ गए थे और आधा घंटा बैठ के बातें कर रहे थे। सो देयर वाज नथिंग लाइक दैट कि वी वर नॉट सिटिंग। हॉल के बाहर पानी भी मिल रहा था, सब चीजें थी। बट हाँ, जो लोग लेट आए और फिर एज राजेश सेड, दे वांटेड दैट 2 minute ऑफ नॉइज एंड हम ऐसा कर देंगे, वैसा कर देंगे। और फिर उसके बाद में स्टेट के चीफ मिनिस्टर ने खड़े होके स्टेज से हाथ जोड़ के सबसे 2 बार माफी मांगी। पीबीडी वाले प्रोग्राम में भी मांगी और जीआईएस के प्रोग्राम में फिर मांगी कि भाई जिन लोगों को कष्ट हुआ, मैं उसके लिए दिल से माफी मांगता हूँ। दिल में जगह थी, हॉल छोटा पड़ गया, बट आई कुडंट डू एनीथिंग अबाउट इट।
इवन यहाँ पे जब मेडिसन स्क्वायर गार्डन पे मोदी जी का हुआ था, तब भी बहुत सारे लोगों को एंट्री नहीं मिली थी।
हाँ।
हाँ, पर वो यहाँ ऐसे कोई शोर नहीं मचाएगा जैसा वहां मचाया उन्होंने।
अच्छा, इवन जो बाकी भी प्रोग्राम थे उसमें पूरे में कोई आधे घंटे का टाइम का डिले होता होगा, बट अदरवाइज मोस्टली अगर समझ लीजिए 1 बजे लंच होना है तो 1 से 1:30 बजे के बीच में लंच हो रहा था। शाम का डिनर होना है, रोज एंटरटेनमेंट का प्रोग्राम था, लोग होटलों से आ रहे थे, जा रहे थे। कॉफी की व्यवस्था पूरे अनलिमिटेड टाइम थी, जितनी चाय पीनी है, जितनी कॉफी पीनी है, गर्म चाय कॉफी बन रही थी। हैंडीक्राफ्ट के जो एग्जीबिशन और स्टॉल लगे थे वो इतने अच्छे थे कि उसके बारे में क्या नहीं, मतलब मैंने इंदौर में उतनी अच्छी एग्जीबिशन, डिजिटल एग्जीबिशन लग सकती है, वो सोचा ही नहीं था। बाद में किसी गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर ने बताया कि कोई 20-25 करोड़ रुपए लग के वो डिजिटल एग्जीबिशन इंडिया की इंडिपेंडेंस की इंदौर में लगी थी, और वो उसका प्लान था कि उसको दूसरे शहरों में भी ले जाएंगे एंड ऑल दैट। सो मेनी गुड थिंग्स वर देयर दैट वाज, इट वाज अनइमेजिनेबल कि इंदौर में ये सब हो सकता है और इतने सारे लोग आ सकते हैं दुनिया के और वो उसको एंजॉय कर सकते हैं। मतलब जो कृष्णपुरा का, मैं तो प्रोग्राम के दौरान नहीं गया, जिस दिन आ रहा था आखिरी वाले दिन गया, तो पूरे कृष्णपुरा को उन्होंने पूरी छतरियों के नीचे लाइटिंग लगा दी है, उसको लेक बना दिया है, लेक में झरने चालू कर दिए। सो इट इज नो मोर लाइक अ डर्टी प्लेस एंड ऑल दैट। यू कुड जस्ट सिट देयर इन द इवनिंग एंड एंजॉय द फंवारा एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स। पूरे सराफे, और वहां गए खजराना में, तो जैसे ही बोलो कि आप एनआरआई हो, अभी खजराना में अंदर गर्भगृह में मंदिर शायद 2 साल से बंद हो गया। So even if you are an Indore VIP, you cannot go that. Just for 7 days, they opened that if any NRI is coming, he can go directly inside the temple and they will do special puja. So they just opened for that 7 days की। अच्छा, बहुत सारे लोग वहां गए, उज्जैन गए, महाकाल, वो महाकाल लोक में भी गए और दर्शन भी करने गए सुबह, वो जो भस्म आरती और बाकी दर्शन। एवरीबडी हैड अ ग्रेट टाइम। किसी को भी कोई तरह की परेशानी हुई हो कि नहीं हमको बहुत दिक्कत हुई, एवरीबडी सेड नहीं, दर्शन बहुत अच्छे थे, बहुत आनंद से हमने दर्शन किए, बहुत मजा आया। तो इतनी सारी अच्छी चीजें थी। अब उसमें एक काला तिल लग गया, बट दैट इज व्हाट दैट गॉट जस्ट प्लेड अप, स्पेशली इन द वेस्टर्न मीडिया।
यस,
जितने मैसेज आए मेरे को अमेरिका से आए, इंडिया से किसी का मैसेज नहीं आया।
इंडिया से सेम वो बस वो लेडी का व्हाट्सएप पर जो
वो लेडी का व्हाट्सएप था, उसने बाद में
दैट वाज इट,
डिस्क्लेमर भी अपना दे दिया कि नहीं, मैं in the heat of the moment I said that, but it's not that I really meant it, but हाँ, मेरे को उस दिन थोड़ा बुरा लगा, but when I saw that the arrangements were like this,
but वो जो लेडी की मेंटालिटी थी ना, that was the mentality for many people that day उस हॉल में, and that was the only thing, like that's what I'm saying कि वो इंडिया में था इसलिए everybody was expecting it, everybody was feeling कि हमको वो ट्रीटमेंट मिलना चाहिए, but like I said कि मैंने ऐसा कवर कहीं देखा नहीं है कि इतनी यदि 3,500 लोग आए तो पूरे 3,500 लोगों के लिए कीनोट की व्यवस्था होगी। ऐसा जनरली होता नहीं है।
हाँ, उनको सुनने की व्यवस्था कहीं होनी चाहिए। तो
हाँ,
बाहर
राइट,
कम से
राइट।
कम 3 हॉल थे जिनमें एलईडी टीवी लगे थे, जहां आप आराम से बैठ के कॉफी भी पी और उनका भाषण सुन सकते थे। And that was, और उसके बाद में we got chance to meet Mr. Jaishankar. Some of us met. Then we got chance to meet Nirmala Sitharaman. She answered questions. Akhilesh asked some very smart questions. So Jaishankar ji also got confused. उसने कहा तत्काल OCI का स्कीम लग सकती है, तो he said मैंने तो आज तक ये सुना ही नहीं तत्काल OCI क्या होता है। तो he made a note कि यार मैं अपने ऑफिसर से डिस्कस करूंगा कि जैसे तत्काल वीजा होता है वैसे तत्काल OCI भी हो सकता है क्या। Then Akhilesh asked Sitharaman about TDS to NRIs and how that can be easier so that we can get our money अगर इंडिया में टैक्स कटा हो तो। So and all the people were ready to answer questions. जितने बाकी NRIs गए जो इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रपोजल लेके गए थे उनकी CM के साथ मीटिंग हुई, उनके प्रपोजल्स पे डिस्कस हो रहा है। सारे लोग वहां के ऑफिसर्स व्हाट्सएप पे जवाब दे रहे हैं, अगर आपका कोई पर्टिनेंट क्वेश्चन हो तो दे वर रेडी टू आंसर। सो आई फेल्ट लाइक द होल सिटी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, people, authorities, associations, media, everybody was ready to make sure कि जो भी लोग आए उनकी इंदौर ट्रिप बहुत ही अच्छी रहे। That's the impression at least I got in the 10 days that was there. Any other questions from anybody?
Thank you so much.
Great.
Thank you so much for organizing this, and thank you.
No, thank you for great feeling. And of course, we'll take things forward and we'll connect. But yeah, thanks for everybody for joining. Thanks, of course, to the people that were there. We would have liked more people to join. But again, jo bhi attend kar paaye and whatever time that people were able to spend, I think everybody felt really good about it. Great. Good night. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. Good night. Good night.